Welcome to the show, and I'm your host, Kaye Liautaud. I just celebrated my birthday this month, and I decided to come together with close family and friends for a small gathering where we came together in prayer and I shared a spoken word with everyone. So I wanted to use that time to uplift one another because I like having gatherings that are close-knit and intimate because it allows for more open conversations. And it's summertime. You should be using this time to enjoy yourself and spend it with people that you like and uplift one another. And coming up, I have a guest who might be sharing some uplifting words of his own. He is the Guinness World Record Holder for doing 32 planche push-ups. He is the author of his new book, The Gymnastics Adventures with Coach Tweed. He is a martial artist and a gymnast, and we'll see what words he has to share with us. And I'm excited about this guest because when I was a little kid, I actually took gymnastics. I remember tumbling, doing cartwheels and handstands, and the cartwheel was my favorite. So in recent years, I attempted to do a cartwheel, and unfortunately, I actually hurt myself. Maybe I lost the placement of my hands, I don't know, but I actually hit the top of my head on marble flooring. And the pain was so bad that I actually saw a flash of blue light in my head. And that was pain that just wouldn't go away. So I haven't attempted to do a cartwheel in a long time for fear of hurting myself. But I don't know. Do you think Coach Tweed might be able to help me overcome my fear today? We'll find out coming up next on the Kaye Liautaud Show. Special guest today. He is a Guinness World Record holder for doing the most planche push-ups. He's also the author of his new book, The Gymnastics Adventures of Coach Tweed. He's also a martial artist and a gymnast. Please welcome Pedro Tweed. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, welcome. How are you feeling today?
I'm super good. I always say that because you gotta have a positive mindset no matter what you do.
Well, I think you have a very broad mindset because you do a lot to be a Guinness World Record holder. You're a gymnast, a martial artist, and you've written a few books. But what I would like to know first is if you could tell me about your first encounter with martial arts and what was it that made you want to learn?
Oh my goodness. When I was a kid, I was very skinny. And I was very skinny, and because of that, people used to pick on me. So my father was a boxer, and he was teaching me boxing. But then I became interested in the martial art, not from where most people became interested. Like most people became interested because of Bruce Lee. Mm-hmm. Bruce Lee inspired me, but it was the Five Fingers of Death movie that really inspired me.
The Five Fingers of Death
Five
movie.
Fingers of Death.
Never heard of it.
It's an old movie, but they were doing all this jumping and all this stuff, jumping, and they would jump and they'd be fighting like 10 feet in the air, they'd be fighting, right? And I said, I want to be like that. And I went and I was in school and I saw these guys doing a martial art demonstration. And they were so fast, I said, I want to be like that, right? Because I didn't want people to pick on me anymore because I was skinny. So that got me interested in the martial art. Uh-huh. And then because of that, it gave me the confidence to do everything else from there. So I started practicing on my own first, but then I went to the high school and they had a karate club. And there was a guy named Louis there that taught me martial art. And I was so happy because he demanded kind of respect after that, no matter how skinny you were. Look what he could do. And every time that I did that, it saved my life a couple of times, actually, because I was raised in the Bronx, and there were gangs there, and there were all kinds of stuff there, mm-hmm. all kinds of bad stuff going. And martial arts saved my life.
It sounds like it. I mean, it's good because when you know martial arts, it's self-defense. So mm-hmm. I'm glad you were able to maybe fight off some of those attackers, those bulliers. It's always good to know self-defense. What's the most valuable lesson that martial arts has taught you?
Discipline. Because without discipline, you cannot do anything. everybody could start something and not finish because of discipline, because of not being disciplined. When you have discipline, once you set up a goal, then you sure to achieve it because you know the formula, see? But people that are not disciplined, they start something, but they never finish,
And so from martial arts, how did that transition into you becoming a gymnast and a coach?
Great question. I love the question. The reason I became a gymnast was because I was doing martial arts, so I had to be flexible. And then Benjamin Franklin needed someone else to do gymnastics. But I was interested in martial arts. I just want to fight. But because of my flexibility, they needed someone else. And they talked me into doing the pommel holds first.
Okay.
And if they didn't have one more person, they couldn't have a team to compete. So they really convinced me to do it. So then I fell in love with it because a lot of the things that you have to battle through gymnastics is fear. Like afraid to go backwards or afraid to do something. And that also, the discipline within the martial art helped me out with the gymnastics. Because you have to, like for example, to get a split, you have to do it every day and continuously. And you have to be disciplined. Otherwise, you'll never get it.
And so as a coach, because you teach gymnastics, how does your method of teaching differ from other instructors? Are there any specific principles that you instill in your students?
The first principle is love. If you love what you do, you get the resources to teach. Like if you love kids, right? You find the resources. Even if you don't know the resources, you look for the resources because you love those kids and you want them to be the best. And I think that that's a good thing in life in general, that if you start with love, you could build anything. But if you start, I'm just going to make some money, because I don't make a lot of money teaching gymnastics. And I didn't make a lot of money teaching martial art either. But I love what I did, and I know how it made me feel. And I wanted to share that with other kids, So when I saw kids, we basically started teaching gymnastics for practically nothing. It used to be like $45 a month for the longest time. And people couldn't believe it, because if you went to another school, it was like $200, $300 a month. And people couldn't believe it. But we found the resources to do it that cheap. And it allows more kids that maybe couldn't afford it to be able to do it.
And what's the name of your gym? I'm sure the audience would love to know. Maybe they like to take classes from Coach Tweed.
Okay, so the name of this gym is Tweednastics.
Tweed Gymnastics.
That's the competing. But Monticello Gymnastics is what we go under.
Okay.
But the competing thing is Tweed Gymnastics.
Okay, and where is your gym located?
It's up in Monticello, New York.
Okay. All right, so that's where you can go to learn gymnastics from Coach Tweed. And I've noticed, looking at social media, your students, they often, come out with medals and achievements. I'd like to know, what is the mindset that your students have to achieve the gold medal?
Again, it's got to be discipline. And then you picture your goal as far as what you want to get. But what I teach in gymnastics or martial art is that never to have a goal where I want you to go and have fun. Sure, it's nice to get the medals, but how you feel after, if you don't get the medal, is the most important thing. Like if you didn't get a medal and you have a bad attitude after, you never learn from it. It's easy when we get a medal, it's nice, hey! But when you don't get a medal, that's when I really learn who my gymnasts or my martial art people are.
When your students are faced with maybe a difficult move or a new trick, and it's hard to learn new things sometimes, how do you encourage them when they feel like giving up?
You're telling a story. I'm not going to tell you, I spoke for USA Gymnastics at one point, and I went and I stood there and I said to them, I was ready to speak. It's a lot of people. Ready to speak, and then I pull out my phone. And I start talking. And people were looking at me like, what's wrong with him? Supposed to be giving a speech. why did he pick up his phone in the middle of the speech? And I looked at it, and they looked surprised that I did that. I mean, that's wrong. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, but my daughter is about to have a baby. And I told her to call me anytime. So when the phone rang, thought it was my daughter. So the attitude of the people in the audience changed when I told them that. Said, because first they were angry with me because how dare you? Mm-hmm. But then after that, when I picked up and I explained what was happening, then they were on my side now. Okay, then I have to tell them that I made the whole thing up. See how easy it is to manipulate the mind? Uh-huh. Okay, so whatever you put in your mind, if you change the story, if you feel fear and you change the story, then you could handle things better. Because oftentimes when you have fear, what's happening is that you're telling yourself the wrong story. But if you change the story, actually what happened is that my daughter was pregnant, so I didn't really lie, but I did that in order to show them how easy it is to change your mind if you change the story. My granddaughter was born, but that's basically what you do. You change the story in your head, because usually if you have fear, you're telling yourself the wrong story.
I like that. That was really nice to hear. Thank you for sharing that. How has your gym contributed to your students' academic learning?
In gymnastics, even when I competed, and if you didn't have high grades, you couldn't compete. You're not allowed to compete. So then you have to keep your grades up in order to compete. And we stress that you should do that first. Okay, gymnastics could be fun, but if you're doing gymnastics, and I hate to say it, but a lot of parents use gymnastics in order to get their kids to do their academic. Like to say, oh, if you don't do this, we're going to take away gymnastics from you.
Some positive encouragement, right? Right. So your gym still follows that rule. You have to keep the grades up in order to compete.
We don't have to do it with the parents anymore. They do it themselves.
Okay.
See, because they if they want to compete and they really love it, if they have a passion for it, then they do what it needs to be done in order to compete.
So I would like to know, let's switch the roles in reverse.
Sure.
Instead of you being a coach, if you could be a student for a day and learn from a gymnast, which gymnast would you like to learn from, and what move would they teach you?
Ooh. Let me think about that, because I know a lot of the gymnasts, some of the Olympians. And, right now Simone Biles comes to mind.
Okay.
And she comes to mind because she's an innovator. She got, several skills named after her. And that's the way I work. Like, for example, we talked about the push-up record before. Mm-hmm. The reason why I had a push-up record is because it was never been done before. I was the first one in the world to do it. And it came from one of my students doing push-up incorrectly. And then I said, come on, I could do that, with my feet off the ground. Now, I never done it before, but I told them that, and they inspired me. So one of the things that, my kids are always saying that I inspire them, but actually they inspire me.
So why would Simone Biles inspire you to be your teacher for the day?
My teacher because of her attitude.
Her attitude?
Yeah, her attitude.
And what would she teach you?
What would she teach me? I would like to see that double, the Biles.
The Biles, right?
The
That's
Biles.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. And we need to talk more about this Guinness World Record. You did 32 plunge
32.
push-ups.
32
yeah.
I did where it was, recorded, but I actually done 60.
Oh, you've done 60?
Yeah, I actually done 60. It said that it wasn't recorded when we did it.
So is there any way that can be updated? Can they?
I don't know. Guinness had different people now. The person that was there, I did it on the Regis Philbin show.
Yes, I saw Regis and Kathy at the time.
Right. And people had changed. So I don't know how we would do that, other than if I have it on film. if I do it again.
Okay, let's remember that. Pedro Tweed, he has went from 32 to 60 planche push-ups. Has anyone ever been able to beat your record? Do you know?
I taught some of my students to do it.
You told your students
my
to do
first record was 17.
Okay.
And then I did 25, and there are videos out there, you know. And then I have a student, Tab Bracington, that I taught him, and he brought the first record, which was, he did 18. But then I did 25, then I did 32, and then I continue. But there's a lot of people right now that will be able to break that. The reason why it was hard before is because nobody believed it could be done. But with training and with discipline, I could teach anyone to do it. It just take a while.
So you're saying that, you know, someone could probably beat your record,
Oh,
but you don't
absolutely.
know if they've actually done it.
No, I don't know that.
Do you have any students that you believe will go over 60 planche push-ups one day?
I think that any of my students could, in fact, do it.
And what makes the planche push-ups is you have your hands on the ground, or could you explain what a planche push-up is?
It's just my hand on the ground, my feet are parallel to the ground, to the floor, and then you do up and down that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, you know, for your students, because I believe we all leave a legacy here on this earth. We have a special memory that just lives on after we pass. Mm-hmm. How would you like for your students to remember you? Like, what are some lessons that you hope that they carry, you know, long after you're gone and you're no longer teaching?
To care for other people. We are only here for a short time, and people tend to forget that. We're only here for a short time. And if we don't learn to love and take care of other people, you know, imagine when you get older and you're having a difficult time crossing the street. In the past, when I was a young man, if we saw that, we would go and help that person cross the street. Now everybody's so busy with their life and with their phone that we tend to ignore that. We don't take care of other people. When you're younger, we have to take care of you. When you're older, we have to take care of you. It's in between there that we don't really need that much help. But that's when we should be helping other people, because when we get older, we would like other people to help us, you know? And that's not the way it is, and I would like to teach kids to actually care for each other rather than competing against each other. I know that competing is a natural thing that we do in gymnastics, but if we learn to care for each other, we are always moving up higher because of it. So if you're competing with someone, you're actually making them better and they're making you better. Mm-hmm. But if there's no competition, you don't get better. But if there's a little friendly competition, like in my gym, I tell the boys, hey, go and do that. Show the girls how to do it. And then the girls, of course, they don't want to get beat by that. So they go and do it. And that's the way we get better, by actually supporting each other rather than, you know, we competing, you know, I'm better than you, that type of thing.
It's healthy competition in that case. And you have a new book that came out, The Gymnastics Adventures of Coach Tweed. And I see you have another book here. It's called Freeway. Could you tell the audience a little bit more about this book?
Oh, this book was written for more like teenagers, but then kids like it and the parents like it, because I'm giving advice. One of the advice in there is bad boys. You know, when I was talking to my daughter, and I said, well, what kind of boys you like? She said, bad boys. And then I was, bad boys? You know, I thought you like people like your dad, and I'm not a bad boy. So I asked her friends, you know, and their friends were saying the same thing, oh, bad boys. I said, well, why would you say that? Why would you say that? And then I started to ask, and you know why girls say that they like bad boys?
Why?
Because they think they could fix him. They think they could fix a bad boy. But the funny thing is that we only do that with people. We don't do it you don't go to Walmart and say, hey, let me have a bad TV, I'll fix it. You know,
true.
We don't do
that's
that.
True.
So that's one of the reasons is because I wanted to give advice to young ladies and boys as well. Because that's the mentality that some people think, I'm just going to go with a bad boy and fix it. And that's not. First, I give advice in there about going with a boy is like buying a used car. First, make sure that it works. Number two is that it could take you far places, and then the rest is there, So.
And where can people find this book if they'd like to?
You could find that in Amazon. All of my books you could find in Amazon.
Okay, and does that also include the gymnastics adventures of Coach Tweed?
Okay, so that's based on true stories. When kids get stuck, and if you saw when Simone Biles, she was being attacked because, the mental things that, but gymnastics is a lot mental, just like in the martial art. So I had kids that had gone through that, where they got stuck. And I wanted to give them advice on how to get unstuck.
Of course, but we're definitely going to get to that in our next segment of the show, Kaye Finds, where Pedro Tweed is going to talk more about his gymnastics book. I believe he has two he's going to share with us. So the second one is a bit of a surprise. Pedro, I think I could benefit from reading your book because I've given up on gymnastics. I did it when I was a kid, and my favorite move was always the cartwheel.
Okay.
And, I had an incident where I actually hurt myself as an adult trying to do it, so I've been afraid of it ever since. And I believe you're here today to show me how to do that cartwheel again, so I'm going to face my fears on camera.
Awesome.
You're going to teach me how to do that.
We'll come back and we'll teach you. It's an easy way.
Pedro, thank you so much for coming on the Kaye Liautaud Show. This is Coach Tweed, and we'll be right back. He's going to show me how to do some cartwheels on the Kaye Liautaud Show. And we're back with Pedro Tweed, but for now he's going to be called Coach Tweed because he is coaching me on how to do a cartwheel, which is the very move I've been afraid to do for quite some time. So Coach Tweed, I've got to get over the fear and I've got to learn how to do a cartwheel again.
Well, it's going to be easy because what we have to do is make sure that we break it down. If we break it down, we make it easier, then it's easier for you to get it. So one of the things that we got to do first is put your arms up for me. Just stand right here. Put your arms up like that. Okay, now I'm going to push down. Push really hard. Okay. As long as you could do that, you'll be safe.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing is that you could support yourself like that, right? So put one leg in front, whichever leg you want. Okay. Now don't put it on top of the mat.
Okay.
You're gonna go like this, and you're gonna lunge a little bit. Okay.
Can I put my arms down?
Yeah. You wanna put your arms down right here.
Oh, okay.
And then fingers facing me this way. Okay, bring one leg over, don't jump or anything like that. Bring it over, over the mat, and then like that. And that's it. Okay, now, those are the mechanics, okay? So we're gonna try it again. So the arms nice and straight, and lunge. I think you used the other leg last time. Okay, so your fingers are gonna face me. Okay. And you're gonna do the same thing. Bring your leg a little bit higher. Put your hands right here. And bring the leg, okay, finger facing me this way, like that. Okay, bring the leg over. And bring it all the way over the mat. See how you hop already? Now we're just gonna hop a little bit higher.
Okay.
And every time you go, it's gonna be higher, and then you're gonna have a cartwheel. Okay? Ready?
At least I have cushioning for my head in case anything goes wrong again.
Okay, it won't happen this time. I won't let it happen. Okay, put the leg forward.
Okay.
Okay, now this time you're gonna lift your leg up. Don't do anything yet. Yeah, like that. Okay, good. Okay, keep your arms straight and your fingers gotta face me. There you go. Ready?
Okay.
And 1, 2, 3. There you go.
No, you helped me.
I helped you, but guess what?
Me.
The only reason I helped you is because, this is a little slippery. So, but you could do it now. Okay, so let's try it again.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold this. Do the same thing. You're good. Take a deep breath.
I'm good. Coach Tweed says
Take
I'm
a deep
good.
breath, and you'll be able to do it. Okay, ready?
Okay.
And arms up, nice and strong. I'm gonna be with you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. There you go. There's your cartwheel.
I still got it.
It didn't take that long. It didn't take that long. So what you do, you start that way, and some of the kids, they do it with a pillow. They put a pillow, and I actually told somebody in the airport, the kid that saw me that he had gymnastic in my shirt. So I took the maleta. You know what maleta is?
No.
The briefcase.
Oh, mallet.
Maleta.
In Creole, they say
Spanish
malette.
Malette,
Because I'm
okay.
Haitian, so malette is suitcase.
Oh, you're Haitian?
Yeah.
My father is Haitian.
Your father's Haitian.
Yes.
So is what maleta is Spanish?
Maleta in Spanish is the carry the bags that you carry.
Okay.
Okay, so we put it down on the floor, and I actually had the kid do this, the mechanics of it. And she was doing a cartwheel by the end of it. I didn't even know the kid. I was just coming back from Vegas, and the kid was interested, so I taught her cartwheel. So it's very easy, as long as you know the mechanics. The common error that people do is that they bend their arms. So that's why at the beginning, I had you push on my hands.
I see.
So as long as you lock those arms, you'll be safe.
It has to be straight.
Right. And then the other thing is lifting the leg up. Okay? So
Pedro,
yes.
I actually would like to try lifting the opposite leg this time.
Oh, okay. And that may be better for you because a lot of people think if you righty, you do it righty, or if you left, whichever one is your most favorite split or most favorite leg, that's the way you do it. So you want to try the other side?
Yes, I feel motivated now. Like,
Okay,
I feel more
good.
confident because
All
you've taught
right.
me. So let's see what else I can do.
So you had,
And
yeah, okay.
This one,
Good.
so I have to face this way.
Okay, so yeah, and then you want to put your hands right. Okay, so go right here in the middle. You come this way. Okay, now just put your hands down. Just do the mechanics. Don't do the cartwheel yet. And, okay, look at that. Already started. Okay, so now you have the cartwheel. All you have to do is practice it, and then it becomes easier and easier.
Okay.
Okay, try it again, the other side. That was good. I think you did the other side.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead and put your hands right there, nice and straight.
That was not straight. That
Okay.
was not straight. But
Now, you did the
again.
cartwheel, but I'm going to deduct you for the form.
Yeah.
Leg got to be a little straight.
That's what they do to me in my ballet class.
So one of the things you got to do to correct that is to actually lift your legs straight and tighten up. As long as your quads is tight, you can't bend your legs. Okay? So that's one of the things that we do with the kids. We make sure that they do that. So if you're practicing, you just lift it up nice and straight. Okay, now you have both sides, which is good. I think that's your favorite side, though.
My opposite side?
The left leg is the one that you did. Yeah, you did it on your own.
No, isn't this one?
That's the one you started with.
Yeah, and this is the one
All right.
I'm trying.
Okay.
So can you try now?
Okay, sure. Okay, and keep your arms straight. And go ahead. Ooh, she did a little spin at the end. That's good. So you combine. Now you started your routine. Now I'm going to call you Kaye Simone Biles.
Kaye Simone Liautaud.
Liautaud. There you go.
All right. Well, Coach Tweed, thank you so much for being here today on the Kaye Liautaud Show and for teaching me. But coming up next, Coach Pedro is not Coach Tweed. Coach Tweed is not going anywhere yet because he is going to be featured on our segment of Kaye Finds. So stay tuned for that. Welcome back, and on this segment of Kaye Finds, I have Coach Tweed joining me here today because I found two of his new books. We have the most recent book, The Gymnastics Adventures of Coach Tweed, and
The Gymnastic Adventures of
Coach Tweed. They're both The Gymnastics Adventures of Coach Tweed, but this is the more recent one, and Coach Tweed is going to tell us what makes these books both so different and why you chose to create a new book.
Okay, the reason I created these books is because, have you ever had your cable go out?
Many years ago when I was a kid, probably.
So when your cable goes out, you know what? You call the cable company and they tell you, you got to unplug it.
Okay, yeah.
And plug it in again.
Okay.
To reset the cable. So basically, when a kid gets stuck and they have fear, you have to unplug and plug in again to reset the mind.
Yeah.
So both of these books are talking about resetting the mind. The first one was Mind Change. That's the subtitle. And the second one was Unafraid. And the first one both of them come from a story how I had to reset a kid's mind in order for them to continue. Like this kid got to the meet and was happy and that they were going to compete. But then something happened between there where they now were scared. And then I had to tell a story, as I said before, and in another segment, that you had to change the story in your mind. But a lot of the times, the kids can't do it. So you have to do it for them. You have to create the story for them. And in the mind change was, when we go to the competition, they give you a number in your hand. And the number was 666.
Oh,
And the kid looked, so you know what that does to your mind, right?
Fear.
It reset it to something else. So the kid, oh no, that's the sign of the devil. And I said, the sign of the devil. So I had to think quick in my feet. Okay, so I said like this. I took a hand up and said, look at it. That's your score, 999. Okay,
Yes.
so this is what this one book is set on how to reset the mind to something else, to something that's going to benefit you rather than scare you. Because otherwise you get stuck there. And we had to reset our mind all the time. Whenever a negative thought comes into your head, they're usually uninvited. They just come in and you start thinking, maybe am I good enough? You don't have to worry about that because you're great at doing this.
Yeah, I'm great at doing this.
Absolutely. I could see it. I could see it already.
Oh, thank
because,
you.
Just the way you ask the question and things like that. But there are times, no matter how confident we feel, that we get stuck and we start doubting ourselves. And then when we start doubting yourself, you got to learn how to reset your mind. And on this one, it was a particular part of equipment that the kids we were lagging on. So I called a meeting and said, we have to get better on bars. Yeah, on that one. And so we devised a plan on how we're going to get better. But one of the kids said, well, I'm afraid. And then we had to, usually when you're afraid, it's because you're asking yourself the wrong questions. So then me as a coach, I had to start asking different questions to reset the mind. And with that, the mind was reset. And that's why the books came about. But based on true stories.
I like that a lot, and I think a lot of children and maybe even adults could benefit from reading both of these books. So this one is Mind Change, and it says it on the cover. And then also the next book of The Gymnastics Adventures of Coach Tweed. This one is more so about combating fear. I want everyone to see that. And where can people purchase both of these amazing books?
We are making a website, but you could get them right now. You could get them from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and things like that. Okay.
Perfect. So Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And then your other book, Freeway, that's on Amazon as well?
That's everywhere.
Awesome. But stay tuned because coming up next, you'll get to enjoy a segment of Kaye's Thoughts. Today on the Kaye Liautaud Show. Thank you so much for coming. I was thinking about Coach Tweed when he was showing me how to do that cartwheel. And there's this quote from Yoda where he says, do or do not. There is no try. And in Coach Tweed teaching me how to do that cartwheel, that was a moment where I had to do and do not try because I had no choice but to do what he was teaching me. And I think if you have a goal in mind where you are trying to succeed at that goal, that's your expectation is to succeed, then you just do it. You do not try. There is no try. You just do or you do not. It makes perfect sense in my opinion. So I want you to think about this. What can you do that you can be successful at? Just do it and do not try. I think that's something to think about. Thank you so much for watching the Kaye Liautaud Show. You can follow us on Instagram at the.kayeliautaud.show on IG, and you can also find us on Facebook as well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.